Good evening and welcome to this Hero Goalie Co live chat. We are very, very pleased to welcome Tommy Alexander and Amy Gibson. Good evening, guys.
Hi.
Hello there.
This is our fourth live call. We've had some fantastic guests previously and really looking forward to this Scottish special. So Tommy has got 49 combined international caps for Scotland and has played in the Euro A divisions with the national team. Amy, 109 international caps for Scotland and 2 Great Britain caps. Welcome, both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Right, we're going to be taking questions throughout the evening and live. I can already see we've got a lot of people online tonight, so welcome. A special shout out to Uddingston, the Uddy Hockey Club up in Scotland. That's a place that we've been talking to. We're going there next month for a camp, so welcome to them and welcome to everyone from all around the world. Right, first of all, guys, let me explain Hero Goalkeeping. We are a UK goalkeeping brand. Myself and Alan Dick, who unfortunately is gutted not to be here tonight, obviously a former Scottish international himself. We're launching tomorrow. We are down in Kent with a launch event. We've got a sellout adult camp. Very excited to do that. Fortunately, it's going to be raining all day. We will get on with that. And if you're coming down tomorrow, we'll look forward to seeing you there. So, guys, Scotland. Where is Scotland hockey at the moment, men's and women's? What's coming up next, and what's around the corner for the national teams? I'll go to Tommy first.
Good question. I'm a little bit confused myself with COVID at the moment. So last week there was a national team camp, and we have about roughly 10 players based in Europe, and we weren't actually able to get back for the training camp. So we were actually meant to be playing. Well, we are playing you next week, but it's got none of the European-based guys playing.
You being Wales, of course.
You being Wales, the Mighty Dragons. So that's a bit frustrating. And then, but basically, it's all in. We'll find out hopefully soon whether the European. It's second division now, but it's slightly different in terms of there's games that build.
Yeah, the structure's changed.
Yeah, structure's changed, which is much better actually, I think. And yeah, so those games are meant to happen at the start of August. So that's what we're prepping for. But at the moment, to do a 3-day camp, to come to Scotland and then do 10 days in quarantine and then do the 3-day camp and then come back to Germany and do another 10 days, to do 23 days to do 3 days of training is absolutely ridiculous. So we haven't been able to do that yet. So not 100% sure, but hopefully we'll find out in the future.
And Amy, what about the ladies?
So the ladies, they're also playing. Well, they're playing Ireland this weekend in Belfast. Unfortunately, we had the German Championships last weekend, so I wasn't able to get back in time to do the quarantine, like Tommy says, which is a bit annoying. But that's the last camp before our Europeans, which are at the start of next month. So yeah, I don't know what the coach is going to do, but hopefully I get picked. I mean, obviously I've been playing here in Germany for the last few months, so she's been seeing videos of my game and stuff like that, my games and training and things. So that's what we're looking forward to. I think it's exciting with Jen. You've obviously been coached by her. I think she's an exciting coach, and I think she's been a great asset to our like, I don't know, ability and our vision of where we want to go as Scotland, and she's sort of taken us to where we want to be. I think it's been really difficult, like Tommy says, with COVID. We've had lots of Skype calls or whatever. What is it? What's everyone using these days? Zoom, exactly. That's the one. Yeah. Lots of Zoom calls and stuff like that. Zoom Christmas parties with the Scotland team and stuff. So yeah, it's been a difficult year, but it's obviously been a difficult year for everyone. But yeah, the Europeans is the next big thing for us.
I would say Jen Wilson is an exceptional coach. I mean, I was a bit of a gobby goalkeeper, so plenty of ding-dongs before and after games. But I'm sure Jen looks back at them fondly like I do. I hope so anyway. No, great coach, and obviously Scotland are really lucky to have her. So you're both playing in Germany, your club hockey. Now, my research is extremely poor. I don't know how long you've both been out there for. Tommy, how long have you been in Germany for?
I came 2018, August 2018. So did the commie games, Gold Coast. Came back, played my last game for Reading, which was the HA Cup final, which we won on a penalty shootout, which was quality. So it was like a really nice way to end that chapter. And then, basically started afresh and there was not really too much international for that summer. And then, moved out in August 2018, did all the pre-season. And then typically the FIH put a tournament in during the start of the club season. So we missed the opening. Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, guys. So I missed the start of the Bundesliga. So I had to wait a little bit of time to make my debut. But great start. And haven't really looked back really since. So was this and last season was a combined season. So essentially this is the third season going into the fourth season.
And Amy, what about yourself? You both play for the same club?
Sorry, you froze a wee bit there. Just a little bit of a lag in Hamburg here. I was the season before Tommy, so I moved in 2017. I got chucked out the GB squad, and I said, I think I Facebook messaged Jimmy Lewis. And I was like, do you know any clubs in Hamburg that need a goalie, blah, blah, blah. And there was two clubs. Unfortunately for me, the goalkeeper of the club that I play at the moment, Ulster, she was from Chile, and she was going back to Chile. So they had a spot, and he's the goalie coach here, which is brilliant. 2017.
Great. So looking at the state of the hockey world at the moment, something Al and I have been talking to everyone about is like how the goalkeeping role is changing, how the game's getting quicker year on year. I know there's a lot of young goalkeepers online tonight. For a club goalkeeper, does a club goalkeeper need to worry about what everyone else is doing? Or is it really good advice just for them just to literally worry about themselves and the things they can control?
I think you have to. It's a weird one because obviously within the environment that you are, especially with the field players, you are essentially an individual within a team sport. So you're really only responsible for yourself in that terms. And if you can, and it was really difficult. I know what it's like as a young goalie, because especially when you're like trying to push for selection and all this type of stuff, and you end up worrying a lot about what other people are doing, and it doesn't help. It really doesn't help. Obviously, you want to compare where you're at, but at the end of the day, you have to just do what you can do, and hope that. Obviously, there's a bit of it that's difficult because you want to make sure the coach sees what you're doing, and then if that's better than the competition and whatever. But all you can do is just try and be consistent. You're not going to get selected over one session, so the best way is just to keep performing, keep doing what you do, and only focus on that because you're basically in control of yourself.
Absolutely.
I basically would say the opposite of Tommy. No, I think that's important, obviously, to make sure you can do the things that you can do well, like save the ball or whatever, decision making. But like for me, if I have a game where I don't touch the ball, but I feel like I told the defender to step to the right and they intercept it, like I'm like, well, I've had a great game. I've not touched the ball, but I've had a good game because I can make sure my communication's so good that my team does well. So like I think that's probably like one of the things that I think I do really well, and I don't know if other people would notice it, but for me internally, knowing that I've done that sort of thing, like I think that's like quite important for me. But it's not as important for Tommy because he just loves saving the ball. He's like that, guys, step out the way so I can get a shot here.
That's a good point though, because I always got this thing in my mind where a lot of coaches who aren't goalie coaches or coaches who haven't got a massively great knowledge of goalkeeping, which is a lot of coaches, to be fair, even at a high level, they've got a pretty, what I'd call basic, or like they just observe, they observe stuff and they make their mind up quite quickly. Actually, a lot of coaches won't notice the communication until it's not there. So, for example, Amy, when you're not there and you're number two, another goalie comes in, like they might not call like you, and so when you've got a goalkeeper that talks well, it just makes everything so much better and more proactive, and you manage the game. And I definitely find that with young goalkeepers, especially, a lot of calling is experience and confidence and knowing the game in front of you and knowing where people should be. And the young goalies I've come across, that's decision making and communication, I think, are two of the last things to really become consistent as you're growing older. Like if you're a teenage goalie, and there's a lot of, I've seen a lot of good goalkeepers this year around the UK. But invariably, communication is something they find hard. They're either shouting lots and lots like a commentator, which might be what you guys told me. Is that your style? Lots of chat, or is that your way?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very vocal, but it's a lot of the time.
It's umpires.
Mainly at the umpires. I don't know what their issue is.
Those umpires are always wrong, aren't they? Like, yeah.
If they communicate back, it's normally fine. But when it's like, I've made a decision, deal with it, I can't really cope with that.
Helmet off. Where's the camera? Tommy's got the best sense of where a camera is. Every single game, there'll be a photo of him. His helmet's off. His eyes directly into the camera. He knows where it is.
You're there going, that could get on the gram. That could be decent.
Why not? Good looking guy, Camera magnet.
I can't remember what the question was.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Let's just ramble.
Oh, no, that was it. Sorry, yeah, communication. I actually, my thing of communication is the reason it's important is I use it as a way to stay in the game. I find it as almost like a commentary where if you're telling people, for example, there's a left foot pass, cover the cross, then I've almost preempted the situation that's going to happen. So it's easier for what I need to do is next because I'm involved. I've had it before where I remember one time we were playing Flottbeck at indoor, and the indoor atmosphere in Germany is like nothing else. It's so loud. It's like 500 people crammed into a small space, drums, flares outside the hall, this type of stuff. It's mad. And I couldn't hear myself. I couldn't hear myself think. It was so loud. And I just remember thinking, this is not going to be good. And I think we were about 5-0 down at halftime. But we came back and won, so it was okay, 6-5. Yeah. But for me, it's also, if not communicating for me, I know, personally, I've switched off, and it means I'm not actually interested. If I'm not talking, it means I'm, how am I going to get home? All this sort of stuff, other things coming in during the game. So communication for me is that it selfishly is to keep me involved, to keep me trying to play well.
Yeah, you got your little, unless you've been, and this is what I find hard, unless you've been a goalkeeper in the visor, I do think it's very hard to coach a goalkeeper, and unless you've been in that situation at a pretty decent level. So obviously, coaches are looking at the pitch, that view of the goalie looking out from behind the visor. I think it always looks totally different to me. And when I coach now from the sideline, it just doesn't look the same at all. You see things much better from a goalie's position in terms of angles and who's doing what. But what I wanted to say about that, if you could give young goalkeepers listening 2 bits of advice, or one each maybe, about communication, like are there any little pointers or tricks of the trade that you think would be really good for young goalkeepers listening tonight?
I think for me, that when I'm at training, there's a younger goalie there, I'll just tell them to speak, even if it's just telling a player that they made a good pass or they're in the right position, because that's easy to tell someone. It's harder to tell someone when they've done something wrong. So if you just get in the habit of speaking and just saying something like that, then you'll feel more confident when you maybe see something where where they should be the next time, and you can talk to them maybe when you stop playing or whatever, but or the game's in a pause. But yeah, I think just being positive initially helps so much when you're a younger goalie, because then people just hear your voice and recognise it and be like, okay, that's a positive voice behind me, so I know I can listen to them and take something from it.
Yeah, good advice, good tips.
That's only one thing, but that's it. That's all you need. One nugget.
Right, guys. Thanks for tonight. That's it. We'll leave it there.
All the best. All the time.
Bye.
Absolute gem from Gibson. Okay, guys. Okay, that's good. Tommy, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say simple, stupid, good, which is my favourite Australian expression, which is, just the communication has to be short, simple and loud. That's it. It doesn't have to be continuous and again and again and again, but, it's, whatever the player's name is, left foot pass. So they've got a simple instruction to follow. And then again, if it needs to be said again, then you say it again and then again. Normally second or third time, it can be pretty aggressive to kind of get your point across. But it's not, the way in which you speak is important because, if everything's at high alert all the time, then it can become quite frantic. There are times that you're going to have to call people out and make sure that they do the right thing. But if you communicate it early and simple, then you make the defender's life a lot easier, I think.
Yeah,
one thing.
I always tell kids over here that when we're working, that the best time to call is when you have the ball. Get everyone lined up and in position proactively. Like, for example, your right back's bomb forward, you get your left half back tucked right in and proactively ready. I think especially a lot of younger or club level goalkeepers wait till it's a bit of an emergency, then they start really shouting and getting Larry around the D when the ball's almost having a shot or whatever. And the more time you can give your defenders, the better.
I think my team, whoever I play with, would be sick to death of hearing me just shout counter defense. Certain players, you don't.
No names mentioned.
Then you just say to them, look, if you do it, I won't shout it, so just do it. So it's their fault.
Worst thing about playing is technology.
Jimmy actually said to me probably about 15 years ago, and I always remember it. He said, so when you're communicating with whoever people in your team, you should ask them first, then you tell them, and then you demand. So they're the three ways to speak to people, obviously. And if they don't listen to you the first two times, then that's when you need to start putting your foot down. But yeah, that was quite a good way of putting it.
Tommy, right foot. Tommy, right foot. Tommy!
Tommy, man!
Yeah, definitely. Volume and tone can change as you get a bit more desperate with the calling. Okay, let's have a quick talk about style. Goalkeeping enthusiasts, and I know we've got a few absolute goalie badges online tonight. Goalie enthusiasts in this country, in England, will know that the goalkeeping style historically has been quite basic and very technique orientated. You get your hands up, head forward, on your toes, kind of stuff. And I know growing up, I had loads and loads of that. Jimmy was actually my coach at like England age groups, and he'd rock up in like a pair of jeans and sunglasses, straight from Glastonbury or whatever. And, but he was the first goalie coach I had. Well, sort of like it got engaged me because it was different. It was the first coach not to keep saying the same kind of cliche things about having your head forward and attacking the ball. And like, if you look at the basis of goalkeeping in England, like I feel like the same stuff got regurgitated for like many, many years. And now, having spoken to Jimmy and Mark Hickman, Kiko, like it's becoming apparent to me, really, I wasn't even aware of it, how differently people go about doing the same job when you move around different countries. Like in Spain, Kiko was saying, all pure reactions. It's all like loading, diving, getting up, reacting, desperate clearing under pressure. Like very rarely will they talk anything about weight or balance or head forward, or like a lot of it is just pure reactions and ability and recovery. And then we talked to Hiko, and he's talking about the Aussie style of kind of like staying in the goal, almost like shot stopping. You don't really see someone like Rachel Lynch of a smother or slide out. She's kind of quite reserved, makes sound choices. And then you look at like Belgium, where Van Asch and those sort of guys they're all over. And Maddie in the gold medal tournament, like just smothering, sliding, getting out to everything. I'm really interested in, like, in Germany, like what is a typical German style of goalkeeping?
Being really tall.
Taller the better.
Opposite of us. Opposite of Tommy, basically.
Hang on, Amy, we weren't going to mention height.
Just can't help myself.
Gibbo's a giant over here. I was saying it's very interesting coming here in terms of the goalkeeping is heavily influenced by the indoor, and because the indoor season runs for 4 months here. So if you're a kid, the season starts April, finishes October, then you're kind of straight into indoor November all the way to February. So your run of games and how much time you get on the pitch is massive with indoor. So that's one thing. Culturally, I'm sure Gibbo will agree. She'll have her point on it, but which is a lot of the stuff within Germany, not just the goalkeeping, but the playing and everything, it's result over process, which I don't like personally. Where it's like, if it worked, that's fine, that's good, but it's hard. So a lot of times when I coach kids, and they might save it, but I'm like, no, I wanted you to do it in this way because of this reason. It'll be like, yeah, but it worked, and that's quite a hard thing for me to get around, because I'm very process and orientated. So that was the thing where, because of that kind of result over process, you get a lot of strange stuff happening where, a lot of aggressive style goalie, because again, there's not a lot of goalie coaching, it's field players, and normally field players' answer to goalkeeping is go out, get out there, tackle. And you're like, so that influence has definitely been within the German goalkeepers. And again, like, you look at a lot of the goalies, they are big and they're not technical, they're not pretty. They just tend to be so Max Feinhold is a really good example. He was unbelievably good, but he had different ways of saving the same stuff. But he always got in the way of the ball. But the most important part was he tended to be balanced, and he never guessed. He had a good set of reflexes on a big guy, but without a huge amount of what we would perceive as technique. But I would say and that's why I think he was probably the most outstanding German goalkeeper. But if you look around, there was this kind of indoor, goalies running down the baseline and all this type of stuff. So it's been interesting taking the more, what we've been taught, and introducing ideas and techniques to give a bit more structure. I can't believe it sounds from a British person giving German structure, but that's inevitably what, with the company, with Jimmy and Evie Frank and myself, came up with Iconic. It's a new concept to have structure within goalkeeping, and that's something I would say is quite different. So
yeah, I was just going to say that something we've been working on with the Welsh boys is actually having process and trying to save the same balls in the same ways, and based on the more consistent the process, the more consistent the outcomes, and just trying to get rid of that randomness where it's just kind of like, as you said, saving it anyway. And like,
I'll add to that. I had a really interesting coach with really interesting chat with Gibbo's club coach, Vali Altenberg, who was the German men's Olympic bronze medal coach. And I said, I find it really strange. You look at Australia, and every player is almost kind of the same, and but they're so good technically and this type of stuff, but they're like a well-oiled machine. And he said within the German structure, they don't want to limit flair or anything like that. So they kind of let the kids, as he's now the director of boys coaching within Germany of don't suffer them and don't tell them too much what to do. So that's also been an influence on it, where it's kind of like this process over result, where it's more that way round. And I've personally, I found my head a little bit like, okay, for me, that I like structure within. I don't like structure in life, but I like structure with my goalkeeping. But with some of the kit, if you look at some of the top players that Germany have in terms of like a Ruhr or anyone, that these sort of level guys, I couldn't see the UK producing anyone like that, because there's so much structure within what's happening. So I thought it was just interesting of how that's come. I feel that's come into the goalkeeping, where it's like, don't box them too much. So
yeah, you know, flair can easily be coached out of you, can't it, if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Cool, like that. So let's have a quick chat about players you've played against, because I know when I was playing, I played for Canterbury in the Premier League and was played against Jimmy quite a few times. We had a really nice team back then with people like Quan Brown. Quan Brown at the age of like 23 was
what a player, insane. By the way. What a player.
Well, yeah, one of my favourite player for lots of reasons.
Cool guy, really cool guy.
Yeah. You know, we had like Dave Matthews, Dave Hacker, like some really big names in hockey. We'll never forget Jimmy's team for beating us in the playoff final in the last minute. Mistake by me as well. But I played against with some really nice players. Actually, I'm interested more so about you guys, who you're playing with, who you played against, and who you love. Is there anyone you've played against where you think, wow, that guy or that girl, they're really, really good. I'm really going to keep my eye on them. Amy, you look like you're going to come up with an answer straight away. Nice facials as well.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, at our training, he's just mentioned Valley Altenberg, but Lisa Altenberg, his wife, she plays for my club team, and I think she's brilliant, to be honest. She's just like hits the ball like a train, and she can put it exactly where she wants it. I think she's very good. But I have to say, my nemesis when I played for Scotland was Kate Richardson-Walsh. Had no idea what she was doing when it came to corners, and she would just like slap the ball through my legs, and I'd be like, right, well, that's cool. Hated it.
Well, that's
you didn't know what she was doing, and that fooled you, or was that like
exactly? I don't know if that's the truth, but she was honestly my nemesis when I played for Scotland. I just didn't know what she was. I just didn't know what was happening.
In your defence, a slider, someone like Richard Mantel used to put serious pace on a slider in at your feet. It's like you end up thinking like,
he's
no idea what's happening.
Shout out to Rick, what a player!
Yeah, what a player.
Also, Sophie Bray is absolutely class as well.
Yeah, I mean,
unbelievable.
I coached GG goalies and would watch them training, and some of the stuff she did was unbelievable. Like just around the D, just such an eye for goal for anywhere. Brilliant player. Yeah, you're right about that. That's the one that got away, maybe. Tommy, anyone that you've gone like, wow, he's good?
Yeah, I think there's a couple. I mean, one is Tim Hertzbruck, who plays for Mulheim, and he's like Germany's star forward. He's, I mean, it's
Heartbreaker. That's literally his name.
Yeah, he's broken many hearts. He is. Yeah, it's that. Kali Take always said this thing to me. They used to play for Canuck, and he was Gibbo's coach at Slough, I think. And it was is a player a ball carrier, or are they a dribbler? And by a dribbler, like a windscreen wiper, you see these kids all the time where they've got really fast hands, but they can't see a pass. And a ball carrier is someone who carries the ball and looking for a pass. And I mean, the speed this guy can carry the ball at, and find a pass, and receive the ball under pressure. You take it, his backhand shooting, his forehand shooting. He's just this kind of unbelievable freak of nature. So I think he's probably the best player, and flicks a good corner. He can do so much. So he's definitely one. And the other one that I always thought, playing in the UK, whenever Ashley Jackson was playing, was always the problem with Ash is whenever he picked up the ball, he could find a pass so far ahead. So not very often you have to be so organised so early in terms of, if the deep, if the centre mid's picking it up quite deep, then you're kind of thinking, I've got enough time to kind of organise the team, but because of Ash being able to push past the ball so far and flick the ball under nothing, he could create almost counter attacks from nothing. And then the only other player I'd like to add into that is like Martin Zwicker. I mean, he's just absolutely outrageous. The skills that he has and plays like he's one guy that when he really dictates a game in terms of if he wants the team to go fast, the team go fast. If he wants to find these long balls or stuff like that. So, when you go into the game with these sort of guys, it's like, right, when trying to look out where they are, because that's what makes the team tick and trying to get the team organised in behind.
Quick message. Alan Dix just sent a message saying, "Evening, Tom and Gibbo. Super sorry I can't join in all tonight. Hopefully I'll make it another time."
He's got a good excuse.
Yeah, he's always got a good excuse, Alan. Very busy man. Very busy man. Okay, let's move on then, because I want to have a little chat about your own goalkeeping. Amy, how would your teammates describe your goalkeeping? Would they think, "Oh, she's a nutter, she's absolutely really aggro," or would they think, "Oh, she's calm, steady, reliable"? What they think?
I think they'd probably say it looks like I'm not interested. Like I'm just quite relaxed, like horizontal, and then I like stick my big toe out and they save the ball, and they're all like, "Gay ball,
I like that. I like that style. That's
good. I feel like it's always Anna's shots that I save.
Of course, you are bothered. You just don't always look
exactly.
Like it.
I think it just looks like I'm not that interested. And I think I've seen like a video of myself, and I'm like, wow, it does look like that.
You mean like Mesut Ozil?
Exactly. Yeah, not arsed. Or like Gareth Bale.
Yeah. I know
Wales
you've gone to like quite a flair example. Tommy, how would people describe your goalkeeping style?
Have you ever seen a salmon like try and go up a stream? Like a salmon.
Acrobatic. I'll go for acrobatic. Athletic.
Probably nervous if I'm going to actually get to the game or not. That's always a bit of a concern.
Are you late a lot then?
Oh God, constantly, non-stop. I mean, my best was this is my first season at UHC, and we had a big derby game against Ulster away. And I don't know if Gibbo knows this story, but basically it was quite an early meet time.
This is the one this season?
No, first season.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what I did the last time. Oh God, I have another story of that one as well. And basically, the meet time I think was 11 or 10:30 or something like that, and I woke up after the meet time. So the meet time's at like wherever it was 11, and I've woken up at like 11. So the game's in like an hour, and I've checked my phone. I've got 100 missed calls, and I'm like, oh. So I get up, and I don't have a car in Germany either. So I jump out of bed, I run into the shower. There's literally no time for a shower. Why are you having a shower?
Yeah,
when you're like an hour late.
I need a shower.
It's absolutely not necessary.
And then made a coffee into my to-go cup, and then grab my goalie bag.
Also not necessary when you're that late.
That is definitely necessary.
If I'm in a rush, if I'm in a mega desperate rush, shower and a coffee are way down the list.
Exactly.
No, they're my number one. I mean, I look homeless.
That's why you're always late, mate.
I look homeless, but I want to try and smell nice, at least. I'm going to look terrible. I've got to try and at least smell decent. And then, and then I'm running down the street, and I get a phone call from one of the players, and they're like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I forgot the corner bag. I've gone to get it. I'll be there as soon as I can." So I'm running down the street, and I'm getting my phone out, trying to find a rental car, like I don't know what you call it in England, but it's a
car to go.
Yeah, in Germany. And anyway, as I'm running down the street, one of the kids that's coming to watch the game his dad is driving, slams on the brake, and it's like, Tommy, what are you doing? I'm like, I've overslept. I'm so late. He was like, get in. I'll get you as quickly as I can. So I throw my goalie kit in the back. He's actually got the drum. It's the kid who bangs the drum for the game. Put my kit in the back seat, and then and he was like, how late are you? I was like, I need you to drive like Schumacher, please. And he was like, yeah, not a problem. So he got from my apartment to Alston. It's normally a 20-minute drive. I think he got there in about 10 minutes. It was on a Sunday, so it was all there. Anyway, must have had about 5 minutes to do the warm up, get the kit on, play, and that was. We didn't win, but I was happy with my performance, so it was worth it. It was worth it.
We've got a live question here from Giles, who says, what do goalkeepers worry most about in a striker? Power, accuracy, reverse stick shooting? Like, what element most concerns you?
Me, it would be accuracy, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they can hit it in the bottom corner, it's quite difficult to save. But if they try and hit it as hard as they can, most of the time, I don't know, come straight at you. I don't know. That's what I think is probably the most difficult thing.
Well, I grew up playing against Sean Curley, who was like, he was on the way out when I was playing, but he was still in the first team, and he just had no backswing. He would like hit it like a rocket with a split grip.
Yeah.
And he would just get his shots away from anywhere.
That was the same as my first season at Indian Gym. Danny Hall was still playing for Holcombe at the time. And in answer to your question, it is just like people shoot early is the difficult thing. You know, people who get the shot away quickly, whether it's like, I mean, there was a good example in the Pro League yesterday where Sam Ward like picked up with his back to goal and quickly got a spin shot. These sort of things where it's like you haven't got much time to set. When you've got these guys who are big power hitters, they normally get charged down because they take so long to get the shot away. But it's the guys who can release the ball quickly that are the tough ones.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic. So pre-season is something to just touch on now. I know most over here the season's kind of winding down and most people getting ready for a break. Have you got any tips for goalkeepers at club level for pre-season? Like what can goalies do to get themselves really primed for the season?
You couldn't have a worse goalie than Amy Gibson.
What, for pre-season?
Yeah, you're just like just chill out, get in the sun, and just rock up when you feel like it. That would be your.
I'm on time though, Tommy.
I feel like I'm asking the wrong people this question. You know, normally the players get together like August time. Matches start in England. Match starts September, August, September. I always think at club level, if you start too early, it feels like a really long season at Christmas. Like, oh my god, is the season finished yet? So you go for a long pre-season, guys. So you don't have much choice with your level you're playing at.
I mean, the Germans love a long pre-season. They love playing 2 full games in one day. Luckily for the goalie, usually there's 2 goalies, so you can play a game each. But honestly, some of the pre-season stuff in Germany is crazy. For me personally, I mean, I just said like how my teammates would describe me as quite relaxed. I'm quite relaxed in that sense as well. Like if pre-season's long enough, I'm not too stressed about making sure like at the start of pre-season I'm like doing plyos and like make sure I'm in the gym and whatever. But yeah, I think I don't know. I just feel like don't stress about it too much. When the season arrives, like you'll be ready. That's how I feel. But I don't know.
You guys do a lot of lifting. I know, it's sort of like there's this fascination and trend now, probably thanks to social media, that you see. For example, you look. If I'm a young kid, I see all the GB players in the gym doing lifting. And then I now see and hear of lots of teenagers who are goalkeepers thinking, oh yeah, I've got to get in the gym, I've got to start lifting. And I might be a bit old school, but I'm kind of thinking like, no, be a better goalkeeper, like keep the ball at the goal better, get on the pitch, do more reps, more volume of training. Like when do we need to worry about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one. I mean, in terms of the pre-season and stuff, I was going to say, similar to Gibbo, how would my team describe me? I'd probably say a pain in the ass, to be honest, because I like doing quite a lot of extra goalkeeping in terms of like doing extra sessions, getting on the pitch with mates, and that's for me is the enjoyable bit, is where you can kind of express yourself and do stuff. It's not, if anyone was like, oh, we want to do like a big long weight session, I'd rather just put my kit on and jump about and do that. I find that. So that would be my kind of advice to that in terms of doing in pre-season, just get on the pitch and enjoy it. And then the bit in terms of lifting, I think it's quite an interesting one, because I've never been a massive gym person. I haven't been in the centralised program, and when I was at Reading, there's no strength and conditioning coach or anything like that. And I was working at the hockey centre at the time, so you'd end up straight from your office desk straight to training for 2 hours, and then you get home and you get late, then you have dinner, and then you're up early. So there wasn't really a lot of time. And then even when I got into the Scotland stuff, there was an expectation to do gym stuff, but I don't think I did very much, to be honest. And then since moving to Germany into like a semi-professional, professional environment where we do have a strength and conditioning coach, we do have access to the gym and stuff. I definitely use it way more, and say even though I'm a bit older than like what shape I was in 5 years ago, I'm better shape now. But it's the thing of that shouldn't be the priority. The first bit is your goalkeeping. If you can improve that, then being super stacked and all that sort of stuff, that isn't going to automatically make you a good goalkeeper. So yeah, maybe it will. Maybe that's where I've been going wrong, but I don't think it will.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, for me, it was kind of, I don't know, kind of different. I went to the Glasgow School of Sport, which specialises in like sport for high school kids, and there's only 5 different sports that are in it, and hockey's one of them. So we started doing Olympic lifting when I was in 3rd year at school, so I would have been 14 maybe, and it wasn't like we had to lift lots of weights and stuff like that. It was more like get the technique, and if you can do these movements, then you'll obviously be more powerful. And yeah, I mean, I definitely think it helps. But I mean, maybe it just made me enjoy the gym more because I was good at the movements, or because I'd learned them properly, and we were coached by proper like weightlifting coaches. So like, yeah, I mean, I think it's like I think it is an important part of being an athlete, but I don't think it's the most important part. And if you're not going to be coached by someone who knows what they're talking about, I don't think it's really that important to do like Olympic lifting, but maybe it's good to do like plyometrics or something that's good for your speed, and that could just be like footwork or just some sort of like jumps or something like that. I think to be like a top athlete, then you do need to be able to do other movements other than just playing hockey. But I think when you're just starting out, I think having more time on the pitch, like Tommy says, is more important than going to the gym.
Just on the training sense, so goalkeeper training, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer like heavy volume, or I know Jimmy was saying to me he likes to do like short sets, so you're not absolutely broken, like high quality short reps, or does it depend where you are in the season? Like in the summer, in the pre-season, might you do like super sets and a lot of hard work, or like how do you guys like to train?
I mean, I like the way that Jimmy trains because that's what I'm used to. But he doesn't like pre-season. He would do way more like multi-ball or like hard multi-ball sets. This is like on the pitch training now I'm talking about, obviously. And then during the season, it's just a bit more like keep it ticking over and make sure you've got your eye in and stuff like that. And I think I prefer that, but maybe that's just my style. In pre-season in the gym, you can definitely go hard, but during the season, it's more important to feel fresh when you're on the pitch, so you can make good decisions, or you can feel good about saving the ball rather than having heavy legs and not be able to do anything in the goal.
So in Germany, do you have more like goalie coaches who get involved with you and the team and the defence, or do you go along that like goalie trainer? You know, with goalie trainers with all the kit, and it's all like just. I watch you on Instagram, and I find it quite interesting that you know, those all action sessions where they've got all the kit out and it looks really fun. But like, I kind of think you're getting sharp, but that's probably about it. What do you guys go for in Germany? Is it? I know Jimmy says he's a coach, not a goalie trainer. He's looking at the goalkeeper's role within the whole team and with the defence, not just like putting you through your paces with a hard session. What's the German style? How do you guys do it?
Yeah, he's definitely a coach, and he knows. Like so the other goalie at my club is maybe 6 foot tall. She's a very tall goalkeeper, unlike myself. And he always talks about like us playing to our strength, if that makes sense. So he always coaches us on like, I'm smaller, I've got a faster feet than the tall goalie, but she's got long legs, so she can reach the corner or she can do things because she's got long legs. This is kind of not really what your question was about, but kind of like roundabout. I might come back to it, but I might not.
Go for it.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's important, and I think that's important for a coach to do, to realise the people that they're coaching are going to be different. So someone might want like a proper balls out session where they're breathing out their arse and they're sweating or whatever, and someone else might just want to do technique or whatever, and then obviously you can discuss that with your coach. But yeah, I don't see the point in like beasting someone when it's not what they're after, and I don't think it has to happen every session. Like I could go to Jimmy's session or a goalie session here, and we just work on like sort of like hand-eye coordination. So we like hit the ball away, and then we maybe save it with the reverse stick up on the left, which you would never do in a game, but it's just like something that's a bit different, if that makes sense. And then you can feel more confident in your hand-eye and stuff like that, rather than just breathing out your arse.
Yeah, I mean,
all the
time. Tommy, what do you prefer? Do you prefer like absolute ball busting sessions, or do you like sort of short, sharp, high quality sessions?
I think it is short, sharp, useful sessions. I have to keep explaining this to lots of people here, but less is more sometimes. I'd rather do the right things rather than just, when sometimes we do a shooting drill and there's like a million balls. Actually, this was an interesting thing that when I was at Reading as a junior, Nick Brothers was the goalie, ex-England and Great Britain goal, and he was class goalie, absolutely brilliant. But he said to me when he did shooting drills, he said he would kind of pick a ball that he was going to be his money ball, his match ball. And that was the one that really mattered to him. All the others he didn't really care about in that set of 10. So I thought that was quite interesting you can do ways to make your training more, because sometimes when it's just loads and loads of repetition, that doesn't actually help a huge amount. And that's why I think it is good to have short and sharp, or in that way you're like, right, on this guy here with the ball, I'm 100% saving his ball, and then you're getting into like more like a game. Because I do see it too much where it's like a million reps and people dying at the end of it, and it's just like, cool. It's a nice little workout, but hasn't really helped with your goalkeeping, I don't think.
Can I just say, if Nick Brothers is listening, Nick Brothers, good evening, because he's the only goalkeeper I ever trained with where I thought he's miles better than me. He's miles better than me. Everyone else sort of thought there's not much in it in age groups, but he was like, whoa.
Honestly, the first time I met Nick was really surreal. He was an absolute world-class goalie, and it's a shame he didn't stick after 2012, because I think if he went to 2016, he would have played.
Like to party, from my memory.
Oh my God, he was loose as. But the first time, so I just got into the Reading first team squad when I was 19, I think 18. And I was training, and Nick hadn't turned up for a while. He'd been on holiday, and I think Ibiza and all this type of stuff. And anyway, he came to training late, swanned out his car, got changed, stumbled over, and just put out his hand and went, "Hi, I'm Nick." And I was like, yeah, oh my God, hi, yeah, I know who you are. Hi Nick, I'm Tommy. And then he just went, he said, bear with me, I could be sick. I've been drinking all day. And I said, I was like, what do you mean? And he went, oh, you know that bank, Deutsche Bank? Yeah, I work for them. They went under today, so I've been in the bar. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry you lost your job. I was like, you're going to get home all right? He's like, yeah, girlfriend's in the car. She'll drive me home. She has to sit and watch me play. So I was just like, this guy is larger than life. He was a cool
got another question here. Dean Davis Hems says, hello, Tommy. Hope you're well. Long time ago since I coached you, but you've done ever so well since.
What a lovely man, Hems. No, Hems is a top man. A really good goalie coach as well. And he's a guy putting a lot of effort with me when I was younger. So appreciate all the love. Thank you, Hems.
When you played at Reading, Tommy, was it Steve Bayer the coach then?
No, my first time was Martin Williamson, who's now the Southgate coach. Who's mad as a hatter, but brilliant coach. He was there for a season, and then I went away to try and get first team experience. Then when I finally came back, Andy Watts was the player coach, and he was fantastic for me.
Blonde guy.
Yeah, unbelievable. Great goal scorer, just a nice guy, and he was absolutely, for me personally, as my development, he was great. Actually, gave me quite a lot of. I was definitely at that age when I was kind of like early mid-20s. I was definitely really wild, and what he decided to do, instead of kind of trying to rein me in or anything, he just gave me responsibility within the team, and that definitely kind of calmed me down and gave me a bit more perspective within what I wanted to do. And actually for him, he's one of the reasons that I played well and got back into the Scotland stuff. So he was good. My last season was with Jason Lee, who is absolutely mad. But my season with Jason was really good. I really enjoyed working with him for that season. And he was cool, because it was, when I didn't get into, when I was trialing with GB and I didn't get in, and I said, this is where I feel, and he was like, look, sounds like the best thing for you. You've had these offers to go abroad. I'm not going to stop you. Like, you need to go and be happy and do that. And he was really good with me. But the one thing that I learned with him was backing things up with stats, and that's had a massive play on what a lot of things that I do within goalkeeping was, because when I was unhappy with the GB decision, he was like, go back with some stats, see what happens. So after that, it kind of became a thing of, corner defense and all this type of stuff of getting numbers together and where do teams like to get in from. So he kind of added a lot of science and stuff, which I found really interesting.
That's perfectly dovetailed, because I've got corner defense here. Obviously, corner defense, as you go through the hockey pathway or whatever the levels, the higher you get, the bigger corner defense gets, really. And at senior level, with Wales, we've done just hours and hours and hours of it. And so corner defense for you, how involved are you with the team and how they run and what they do? And I know, some international teams and goalies almost got the monopoly on it and does all the calling. How do you guys do it? Are you given? Does your coach give you full power down in the goal to call it, or have you got like some options you run? How does it work? I mean, in the women's, how does it work with Jen?
We would definitely look at, obviously, the opposition's corners before we play the game, and then decide what would work against them. If we can see any like telltale signs, if a certain trapper is at a certain stop, then we would maybe call a certain corner. But I think she would give the goalie free rein on. Well, initially before the game, the goalkeeper would be in discussion of what you would run, how you'd run it, and then in the game you obviously would decide what you think is the best option to run. So she's very open to the goalkeeper having a lot of say on what happens.
Obviously, women's game as well. You've got. I always think it's kind of different in the women's game, but equally, lots of things can happen. But I think, fewer teams flick it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. there's definitely a lot more slap or like flick to deflection options.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You don't particularly see in the men's game as much as you would see in the women's game.
To be fair, Jen Wilson made a career out of that. She was always the person diving headfirst at the keeper's feet, absolutely fearless.
I bet yellow card these days. Tommy, there's a yellow card. She's on the deck.
The umpire would miss it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Tommy, corner defence for you. Like, how do you see it? What's the goalie's role other than save the ball?
He's obsessive. He's obsessive with corner
defence.
Yeah,
I'm really bad in terms of. I spend a lot of time editing clips, putting it together. I mean, the guy. I find it quite interesting that when it's like I'm Tommy corner defence, and it's a bit of a here we go, and it's a lot of. I draw lines of where I expect people to be. If they run this routine, I expect this and this. I was experimenting for quite a while with runners blocking stick side and keepers standing on the glove side, for example, because I prefer diving left. So that was kind of a way I wanted to use that. And it was good because when I first came up with the idea, and I spoke to Jimmy about it quite a lot, and he was like, yeah, cool, if you're going to do that, why don't you stand here and here? So it was nice to have someone to bounce the ideas off with. And then it started to it was quite interesting. So we tried it first at the Commie Games, and it's been a gradual process, because the only way you learn it is by doing it. And then when certain bits go wrong, then you kind of go back and go, why didn't that go right, and start changing it. So the concept of bringing closing a stick side, for example, on the long castle, how it looks now for how I set it up is completely different to how it is now. And that was literally through trial and error. And it was being completely obsessive of going through videos. And I think one of the reasons that I became so obsessed with short corners and doing things differently was, again, because of the GB saying I was too short for short corners. So I made it like a thing that actually even though my stats at World League 3, for example, were better than England's, I was like, I'm going to make a name in terms of doing things a bit differently and trying to get it, try and get stuff that works, because a lot of the teams run the same stuff, and a lot of the same goals were going in. So I thought there would be a different way to do it. So yeah, and it worked really well. My first season, Jamie, I think we had 63 corners, no goals, and that was like a massive deal. And that was down to lots of things. It was one, the coach giving free roll, the guys trusting what we set out to do, and I had like fantastic runners and postmen. It wasn't like it was just 63 saves. I mean, a lot of those were rewards, because I think I'm probably the best number one runner in Germany. So it was a lot of that, and then taking that concept to Scotland with the Euros, and our corner defense of the Euros was really strong as well. So it was, yeah, I think for me, I'm lucky that even when I was at Reading, and it became more ingrained in my head how important it was, because my first 3 years I was just kind of like, oh, you run this and you do that. But then after having Jason Lee, and then moving on with Derek Forsyth and Bina, my coach at Reading, it was Reading at UHC. It became kind of a license. You do it. You take the team through what you want to do. Yeah, so I think you are that's your little niche, that's your little pocket to kind of do stuff.
That is where you can really make a name for yourself, I think. Like, if you look at like top 15 nations in the world, like if you just look at shot stopping, there's not a lot between a lot of the goalies. Really, shot stopping at the top level is kind of the easier part of the game, and actually the goalkeeper can make the name in that kind of what I call the ugly zone with that front space and corners. And if you can boss your ugly zone and you're like that close stuff and be sharp at corners like that, straight away catapults you as a goalkeeper into a top goalkeeper, because at a good level you're obviously going to get a lot fewer shots top of the D. Most teams are coming around the back, they're crashing the ball in, there's a lot more deflections and rebounds, and I don't know what the percentage is, but I'd guess at international level, men and women, it's got to be like 70% or higher is in that like 7 to 9 yard area around the P spot where a lot of goals are scored, either from like baseline pullbacks, deflections, rebounds, second phases. And actually, shots around the D, A, they're quite few and far between, and B, they're not always they're kind of like the easier side of the game in many ways because you get a good sight of it and that sort of thing. So,
Billy Backer smash a ball at you.
Who?
Billy Backer, I think when we played Holland, he had a free shot at the top of the circle and he absolutely smoked.
Yeah, he's not bad. He'd get in the Scotland team, wouldn't he?
Yeah, just.
Okay. I've got some questions here. Hello to Jerry McGuinness, who's from Uddingston.
Oh, Jerry.
He says, when are you guys going to return to Scotland?
I know his angle here. He's trying to get some coaching out of us.
I've said this a few times recently. I mean, I've not been back to Scotland because of coronavirus for like 14 months or something ridiculous.
Can you say that like a rolling sea? Can you say corona again?
Coronavirus.
Very Spanish, hey? It's very Spanish.
But I don't think I've lived in Scotland for 8 years.
Sorry, Jerry, she's not coming back. That's it.
But maybe I'll come back. I don't know. We'll see.
Now.
Because I love Scotland.
Yeah.
I miss the tap water.
Yeah.
I miss the tap water.
I did a camp with Jerry and on a Maddie Heach thing at Peffermill.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Place,
yeah. And it's really good venue. It was the best camp I think Maddie did all summer. It just sold out, 100-odd goalkeepers on the pitch.
Great weather.
Weather was good. It was good actually. Great pitch, just lovely setting. I've not been to Glasgow before.
Stunning place. Really lovely.
Yeah. People
make Glasgow.
Yeah.
I liked the Three Sisters pub in Edinburgh. That was good. It's like a 3-story. It's where we watched the Klitschko Joshua fight, and it's got like 3 stories, like food level, nightclub level, like pub level. So
decent.
Stay there all night. Perfect. Hello to Jezza Spicer Martinez, who's a goalie coach. He's from Surrey Way. Top bloke. England Masters goalkeeper. I know he's running his own things as well. Elite goalkeeping. Shout out to Elite goalkeeping.
Hi there.
Oh, Jezza says pre-game music. Yes or no, as in like on the boombox when the team are warming up. Alan and I had this debate only last night. We were thinking for a camp, do we want the music? I'm quite a fan of it. He's not.
He's boring though. Come on.
Where do you guys go with it? I've heard his music. So there'll be no ABBA on my boombox. So Tommy, I'm guessing Tommy's a yes. I'm going to say yes with Tommy.
Yeah, I hate it when there's no music. But I mean, even so, I like the team to have music, and then when I do my warm up, I put my headphones in and I shut everyone else out.
Because they play German music.
Yeah. I used to wear the big Beats headphones. I actually, and then I went over to Gibbo. I was helping with some stuff with Iconic for the logo, and I came outside. They'd been stolen because I left them on a bag outside.
Oh no!
So he stole his balls. Stole his hockey balls.
All my balls. I had a pair of shoes in there, stick, headphone, my beat.
Absolute nightmare.
Also, in like where Gibbo was living in Ulster, it's super nice. I don't know why they'd want any of my stuff. It was crap. So, but yeah. So yeah, no, I now have little AirPods, so I use those before I go to games. So yeah, super. Big music fan.
Okay, we are nearly done. Can I just quickly ask, moving forward,
yes.
What's the future holding for Amy Gibson? Like, what do you want to achieve in the game still, Amy?
Well, I mean, the biggest dream for me, the only thing I've not done with Scotland is play at World Cup. We obviously have the opportunity to qualify for next year's World Cup, and that would be the ultimate dream for me, and for obviously all my Scotland teammates, I'm sure.
Yeah. You've got to get Nicky Alexander-Lloyd back in the team. That's my advice.
Lloydie has just been removed from the WhatsApp group, so
that's it. That is so harsh.
Right?
Class act. Very harsh. And Tommy, for you, what have you got? I suppose you've got a long list of things left you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of lots of things in terms of one of the things of when I came back into the Scotland squad when I spoke to Dale was, it'd be great to be the first Scottish team to make a World Cup. Have the women made it before? I'm sure they have.
1998.
Yeah, okay. So no men's team has done it. So that's one I would really like to achieve that. I'd also like to more likely to do it with indoor, but either way, whatever format, I would like to make it. I would, I still want to get games in the EHL as well, and that's really important for a German club side. Gibbo had that pleasure. Was it 1 or 2 times you've done it now? Maybe 3.
That EHL was the first ever EHL, but we played at the EHCCCC Championship 28, whatever it was, 18, 19, the year before. That was probably better. We did better than this year.
Yeah,
cool.
So, yeah.
And what about Iconic? Have Iconic got big plans?
Yeah, like I was going to say there, in terms of more, for me at the moment, playing is the priority. So whether it's EHL, World Cup, who knows? It'd be nice even in my early 30s to get a GB cap or something like that would be great. But also in the longer side of things, setting up Iconic with Jimmy and EB Frank, Jimmy Lewis and EB Frank, and having wonderful coaches underneath us in Gibbo and other German national team goalies. It's a long-term project in terms of having something set up after playing, and the opportunity to coach in Germany is very good because the club structure is so strong and the season's a lot longer, and because of indoor, there's more coaching hours as such. So it's a good project, and really enjoying it. And hopefully, once COVID has backed down, we can
coronavirus.
We can start pushing it along a bit. So yeah, that's cool.
Someone called Shirley Christopher.
Hey, Shirley. Shirley.
Said, you've also got wonderful players, she says. There we are. Amy and Tommy, I'd like to thank you for giving up your time this evening and joining us. Really, really enjoyed it. Could talk all night, but we've sure got things to do. I look forward to catch up with you in person at some point when our paths cross. When we do, I should buy you both a beverage.
Are you going to the Europeans with the Welsh team?
I'm still waiting to find out.
Well, if I get selected and you get selected, maybe we'll both be there.
That's the plan. Yeah, I already owe Sarah Wilson a beer, so we've got to get you one as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah, great. Guys, thank you very much indeed. If you've been listening and joining us this evening, thanks for coming on. We've had a lot of listeners and some good questions. Amy and Tommy, thank you very much and have a lovely weekend. Take care, guys.
All the best, all the time.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.